Mama D brought her purse to give Deandra her allowance, and Brandi thinks LeeAnne's passcode to her phone is 666. This is the Real Housewives of Dallas reunion.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Let's get it started. Ooh, the lights. Okay. Yes, we're getting it started because it's running to an end. This is the reunion of the Real Housewives of Dallas. Welcome back, y'all. What a season. Season 3, am I right?
Good for them. Good season.
It's I think this is probably my favorite season amongst the 3.
Yeah.
What do you think, or what are y'all thinking?
I do.
I haven't given it that much thought yet, but I mean, it's not worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. I with Grant, I haven't really thought it all the way through, but I'm definitely sticking with it. I'm liking them as a franchise.
I definitely feel like season 4 is going to happen.
Oh, I can't wait.
Let's
I
bring
have to
it.
meditate on this season. I have to give it a little some thought, but I really enjoyed it. I was always entertained.
Right? So a lot happened during the reunion. We got Mama D in the house, some skinny dipping controversy, and a lot of society talk. Before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves.
Hey guys, I'm Jessie Zahner.
Hey guys, it's Grant's Rants from the podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
What's up, party people? I am Erica Edwards.
And I am Rachel Robillard. It's been such a great season overall.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad we're to an end. Like, this is the last episode for the year.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll see y'all next year
I feel
for
like it
season
just
4.
got started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, thanks to the people who have left comments. We've got a lot of
Right?
very positive,
We
nice,
have.
engaged comments that we look at and we appreciate. So thank you for all the nice things. At least I can speak for myself. Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate y'all liking and subscribing and commenting. And we're in the live chat, so give us some of your thoughts, and we'll give y'all a shout out and bring to the camera what y'all have to say too.
Yes.
Okay, so overall thoughts for the reunion and just the season in general. Like, we're done. Like, this is after this episode. We're not coming back till next year. See y'all next year, 2019, for season 4. So thoughts overall with this season. What do y'all think?
We all look at Grant like, go ahead,
I
Grant.
gotta go
Yeah, right.
first.
All right, Grant.
Grant.
Well,
Grant's
I don't want to
rants.
be that one that just cuts into the conversation. So I always try to let everyone get their moment. No, what do I think at large? I mean, I hate seeing Deandra and LeeAnne fall out. It was inevitable from the very beginning. There was a lot of hate between the two of them. And I, knowing where they stand now, I knew that it was kind of the beginning of the end. So I wanted more. Everything else kind of remained the same as far as alliances go. Brandi and Stephanie's still strong. Brandi still hates LeeAnne. But I was entertained and laughed a lot too. So that I think it was a great season overall, like I said. And I'm giving it a good grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really good season. I hate to see LeeAnne and Deandra not
Same.
friends. The other thing that I liked about this season, I liked that Stephanie was a little bit stronger of a voice. I feel like she kind of stood off on her own, and I appreciated that. And then also, I've come to like Cary.
Right, we were talking about that
Yes.
before filming.
I don't know.
Good point.
So,
I warmed up to her. This reunion, she wasn't afraid to say anything, and she was quick to call everybody. I feel like she was kind of an equal opportunity person. Or when someone said something that she could find a way around to make her point or to call out for being inaccurate, she did it. Good for her.
Right, I felt like Cary was honestly the most unbiased the entire time. Like, she was the mediator, middleman the entire season. And usually she was typically on Brandi and Stephanie's side compared to last season's, and always had a tiff for LeeAnne, but she stuck up for LeeAnne in some instances.
I agree
this
she's
season.
unbiased in the reunion. I don't know I can't say the whole season for me.
I feel like the majority of the
reunion,
season.
Yeah.
For me, I think they're overall it was a great season. I think Cary was the one I felt that kind of stretched a little bit for a storyline, but I didn't feel like anybody's storyline was really overly fabricated, which sometimes as these housewives progress, they can get a little bit too theatrical. But Cary, to me, during the season, although she was not always she seemed mostly unbiased to some extent. She was, to me, she was a bit of a pot stirrer. So I appreciated her realizing that, like, okay, just because someone tells you something, you can't go overboard with the run and tell everybody what everyone has said. Like, that actually started to get on my nerves.
Yeah, that used to annoy me, and I think that she's come a long way this season, because I used to be like, she's basically like the Sheree of Real Housewives of Dallas.
Exactly.
But I feel like she's learning, and that's something that she said in the reunion tonight, was like, I don't need to always be telling people.
Right, because I think whatever episode that was, maybe the first or second one, where she was like, oh, if you tell me something, I'm going to tell it.
Yeah.
And she felt like, okay, now that she put that out there, that was her duty. It's like some things, it's going to hurt the other person. Use common sense and don't run and tell everything. So I appreciate that she kind of realizes that she has an issue.
I think a lot of that is like she feels like that's her role on the show.
Exactly.
Is to be that, you know, for all intents and purposes. You know, where LeeAnne's role is to be like the wolf, you know, come from people.
Right.
So it's funny that they're kind of like, this is their job, you know, in a way. They get paid good money and they get a lot of recognition for it. So
exactly. And speaking of Cary and her storyline, one of her biggest one was going to Copenhagen and building the relationship and bond between her and her dad. And she got very sentimental during the reunion tonight. Started to cry a little bit, and I was not expecting that, but you know, they're trying to figure themselves out. I think it's kind of interesting how you want to build your relationship with your dad, but you leave to go to the country, even though you're staying at your dad's house during your renovations. Like, it's a stretch of a storyline, in my opinion, but they made it work. And she admitted that her mom and dad are very conservative, and that they were not a fan that she went skinny dipping in Beaver Creek. At the hot tub.
Right.
Cam was like, where's your bathing suit? She's like, back in Dallas. And she's skinny dipping in the hot tub. But what about her skinny dipping at the Baltic Sea with her husband? Like, where's the... Is it because it's like more sacred? That's like a tradition to do in the Baltic Sea compared to in the privacy of Cameron's own home in Beaver Creek?
Yeah.
So I've like she's so comfortable being naked. We all know that.
Yeah.
And we all know she loves having sexy time with her boo thing, Mark. But it's like, where's the line between you can skinny dip here, but honey, you can't do it here.
Yeah.
It's interesting even generationally now. I mean, I don't feel like our generation cares about nudity that much. I mean, just open up Instagram. I mean, you know, when you're looking at an older generation like that, I think that's like so appalling. I mean, you know, we came up when it was like when Paris and Kim made their appearances, you know, and they made it through their sexuality. I mean, to me, nowadays it's like I don't see the issue at all, but it's funny that people like those folks do, and I wonder where it must be a generational thing. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, she's not. You know, we've seen some of these housewives get on a stripper pole. We've seen some of these housewives get crazy. I mean, Cary was not going nuts. She was going in a hot tub with some girlfriends, like you said, in the privacy of Cameron's house.
Yes, it wasn't for the public eye. I mean, sure, we're the public eye looking in at the reality show, but she wasn't doing anything crude.
Yeah, she wasn't doing anything.
We've all done it, am I right?
Well, if we were a housewife, yes, we would have done it. But yeah, I mean, to me, I think that's what they're coming from, is that it's not, you know, wasn't really private because we all saw it. So even though it was fuzzed out, I am assuming her parents are really conservative and probably have some deeper views about what she's doing on the show. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't say, but that has to be the thing. You're naked in front of really millions of people because it's on the show. So I don't know. I mean, I really felt like her tears tonight seemed genuine. But just as someone watching it, like, I need a backstory. Like, I still have no idea what you're talking about.
Good point.
Like, you go for months, but they let you stay without speaking, but they let you stay at their house. Like, I'm still confused. So I'm not saying that genuinely there probably is some rift there, but, and I don't know, maybe her parents don't want to reveal it, but if you're using it as a big part of your storyline, we need to understand it. And I don't understand it. But I feel for her because I feel like, you know, obviously as your parents get older, you want to have a good relationship with them. So
yeah. And actually, now my wheel started turning. LeeAnne had a separation problem with one of her parents, season 1, with her mother. Her mom and her didn't get along, and so like she felt like she was an orphan a lot because her grandparents
raised her. Right. Like she, I mean, she at least told us about it.
So we kind of had this, not like, oh, wow, we actually have had this similar storyline before.
I don't know. Cary's grown. She has a child. She's clearly a successful person with her business. You know, the parents have to let her entrust their daughter and to do what she's going to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally
do what she wants. I don't know. Let's people are so judgy.
Mama D's letting Deandra do just that too. I feel like she's letting her do what she wants to do.
Hopefully.
Deandra's. We all know Deandra wants to do what she wants to do, and that's what she's doing.
Cake cup and all.
Cake and all. Yes, and so, which leads to Brandi influencing her and all, and then the LeeAnne versus Brandi gets topic came up because of the phone getting stolen in Copenhagen, and this is where they kind of hash it out, like, I still think you took it, no I didn't, like, why did I take it, whatnot, and that's when Brandi revealed, like, I don't know your passcode. Oh, originally it was like face recognition, so we all know that means LeeAnne has the X. And so she has the face recognition. I couldn't get in because of the face recognition. That's when Cary was like, well, you can still do a passcode. I'm like, oh, so these girls know what technology is all about, because that is right with the X. You can do face recognition and or the password. And so then that's when Brandy's like, I don't know your password. Like, what is it? 666? And I thought that was really funny.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
I do too. It was worth noting. I
think I have that as my shadiest.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I think we probably all wrote that down. That is our shadiest moment.
That's funny.
And then with the whole phone conversation, Cam was like, I was with her and I called her, and Brandi flat out pointed at Cam saying, you are lying, and you've actually lied a lot. All you say are lies. Like, it was like, whoa, okay, it's a little intense in there, everything going on, but I don't think necessarily Cameron was lying a lot. I mean, I loved the intro when she was like, if she doesn't talk and she nods.
That was great.
That was really good. But that was interesting having her flat out call Cameron a liar. I thought that was that came out of nowhere. Just like, you've been lying. A lot of what you say are lies, and you're lying about calling LeeAnne because I had her phone, and if you had called her, I would have answered it. And so it's like, oh, like, she has a point there, but I don't. Sometimes there's like I see why Brandi would say that, but in a different country, maybe her, like, the phone connection didn't answer, or
to call someone a liar over that. So somebody called somebody else's phone that was missing. Did they or didn't they? I mean, that doesn't mean that you can paint someone with a brush and malign her character. It's stupid.
I felt like she had, because she was like, what she said, which was sort of interesting, is that you've been lying throughout the whole season. So I was like, and then that's when Cameron was like, stand up. I was like, well, no, you don't have to stand up, but give us some examples.
Yeah,
they need to let that play out.
Exactly. And so they never did. And I mean, I think there were times where Cameron was sort of flip-flopping, and, you know, I wanted the producers to prove, because the whole alcoholic thing, there were times where LeeAnne said something and Cameron was there, and then Cameron was like, no, I didn't hear her say that. And but, you know, we needed the producers in the clips, and I was like, why aren't they going further with that? I mean, the whole phone thing, I agree. That was like totally stupid. I mean, there's times when people are calling me and the phone is died or it's off or whatever, and it's not in my list of calls. So that happens in America.
That happens.
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I feel like she had another basis for saying that, and I wanted to hear that basis. Like, what other lies had Cameron told in the season?
One thing I want to mention, too, to your point with just the way things were, what we were shown and all that, this second part of the reunion was really cut up. Like, they should have just gave this 3 parts. I mean, you know, come on.
Okay. I agree. You think it should have been 3?
They made a lot of cuts, especially, and I know we'll get there, but when Mama D was on, like, it was like blink and you miss it, because she was saying certain things. You could see the cuts, because they always cut the audio and cut to somebody else. So, you know, it trains your brain to go to the next topic of conversation. But for me, just as an editor myself, it was just so choppy and so distracting. And I really want to know, as a viewer, as a loyal viewer of Dallas Housewives, I want to know what was cut, because clearly there was probably a lot said.
Right?
Like,
I know Mama D had
I want to know more.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Mama D had to have said something.
So that was distracting for me. Next time, just give them 3. Come on, these ladies have earned it now. Let's do it.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Well, let's go into some puppet talk. Like, do you think Cam is LeeAnne's puppet? And then we'll go into, do you think Deandra is Mama D's puppet? they did some puppet references. Like, oh, you're a puppet. You're the doormat. You're the doormat of the other person. It's like, dang. I mean, does that, like, them accusing of, like, Cam, they're like, Cam, you are Leanne's doormat. You're the puppet. I mean, last season, would that mean Stephanie was considered Brandi's puppet doormat? Like, whoa, like, that's, you have your best friend, but does that make, you know, one superior over the other? I just, like, because...
I give this some thought too, because like, so you've got Brandi and Stephanie who are super loyal to each other, and then I wrote that they're just as loyal to each other as Cameron and LeeAnne, but I don't know, Cameron's almost to a fault, like way too up her behind.
And also, it's Cameron to LeeAnne. I'm not convinced that the flip would remotely be true.
Yeah, right?
Like, LeeAnne would not be
Good
up
point.
Cameron's behind if Cameron was saying crazy stuff and she was there. She it would work for her, it would, but she wouldn't totally, I think, have the same loyalty that Cameron does to her.
Well, and I think part of the reason that Cameron is so loyal to LeeAnne is because I really don't think Cameron likes Brandi. So I think she's loyal to a fault to LeeAnne about Brandi, because I don't think she likes Brandi.
She doesn't want to be on Brandi's side, so she'd rather choose Leanne's.
Yeah, but so it's kind of, that's how I feel.
I agree, and I feel kind of like when Cameron first came on the show, I don't recall who exactly brought her in, sort of, but I felt like once she sort of riffed, or she didn't really vibe as tightly as she would with Deandra, she didn't really fit with the girls the last season.
Well, she knew Deandra a very long time with the whole name.
Right, but they haven't really bonded as much as, you know, obviously as she and LeeAnne. So I felt like she gravitated to LeeAnne also out of necessity, because she didn't really have anyone she was really vibing with.
And LeeAnne didn't have anybody either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think initially she thought Deandra, because they had this history and the society thing, but for some reason they were cool, but it never, you know, grew into fruition like I think she expected, or anybody really. I thought they were going to be super like the society girls, but they weren't.
Right.
These girls fight hard. I'm just thinking back to last season's finale, not the reunion, but in Deandra's dining room. Remember, everything went crazy there as well. Like, these girls, they're not afraid. Like, they have to work with each other, but they're not afraid to just call each other names and tear each other down, like, to another level. Like,
That's how you got to do it if you want to get the big bucks.
Yeah.
So keep on bringing it to us, ladies.
Yeah. Good point.
Right. So speaking of tearing down, LeeAnne and Deandra were definitely tearing each other down this season. And something we all agreed on is that I feel like that was like the biggest topic for this season was their relationship. At the beginning, and especially at the end of last season, they were great friends. We all knew Deandra and LeeAnne got along. LeeAnne brought Deandra onto the show. She even mentioned how LeeAnne gave Mama D the Mama D name and was like, Mama D, persuade your daughter, Deandra, to come on the show. This is a great opportunity. She should do it. So it's like, okay, Deandra's coming on to be LeeAnne's friend. And Jessie was saying, like, last season, Deandra was the voice of reason for a lot of things and really calmed LeeAnne down.
Yes.
And that is the exact opposite of what's been happening this season. If anything, Deandra's the one trying to get LeeAnne off the rocker. She is the one, like, making it like these accusations were talked, but just she, like, LeeAnne came in very meditated, right? At the beginning of the season, like, I'm meditating and all, and I feel like Deandra and Brandi too at times just tried to get her off her rocker and tried to freak out.
I just don't know, like, where this all started, where Deandra got so combative about, like, how concerned she was with LeeAnne's relationship.
That's where it started for me.
Right, that's where it started.
We don't
and that's
see
what
everything.
Andy said.
Yeah, we don't see everything. So I'd be curious to, like, what amped it up to that level. But she came in hot from the beginning and making accusations that Rich was stepping out. They lived separate lives, and, like, she wasn't being a friend on a national TV show.
But, like, why is it just now happening? Like, they've been together for 9 years. Why are you just at this point fed up? Is it like by the time she gets 10 years, if they're not married, like, you're done with this relationship? Like, I don't understand how it, like, caught fire like this out of nowhere. Like, that she's so concerned, and she's
concerned that they haven't gotten married. I mean, I don't know. So one could say mind your business, but she's friends with LeeAnne, so I can see kind of both sides. But there's so much we don't know.
Right, that's my issue with it. I agree to some extent, at least in the earlier part of the season. I strongly felt like she was coming from a place of concern, although maybe the way she handled it was crazy.
Yes.
But the issue I have, even with the reunion, like, I need receipts. I mean,
Yes.
you
Right.
keep talking about such and
Yep.
such and such. Somebody told you that he cheated. What did they say? Who did he cheat with? I need you to tell me.
Also,
I'm tired.
like,
How long are you going to drag
yes,
this out?
when
There's a
did-
lot of talk. I
When
hear
did
ya.
this happen?
Yeah.
2 of the wives came to you. Did they come together?
Both of
did
the
they
ex-wives.
go and make this thing up and come to you? Did they come at different times? Like, why are we just now hearing
And more
about
importantly, what did they tell you?
Yes.
Is he sleeping with them? Did it happen when they were married to him? Did he cheat on them? Did he cheat with Leanne with them? Like, what did they say?
this? Dude, I
need
want
more.
pictures
I
like
need
Bethany
something.
Frankel had to Luann. That's
Or
what I
at
need.
I'm just thinking this could be solved with Kristen on Vanderpump Rules. She could
Oh.
recruit the 2 ex-wives. They could hash this out in 10
Perfect.
minutes.
I'm down for that.
Come on.
Exactly.
That
Do
could
like a
be its
special
own
for that.
episode in
Yes.
itself.
Come on,
I would
That's for
actually
sure.
die if that happened.
Yeah, I
Kristen
mean,
just walks in like a ratty T-shirt and starts yelling at people. Sure, why not?
exactly.
Right. So as Andy said, the biggest 3 things that were revolved around their conflict was finances, infidelity, and alcoholism. So as we were talking about infidelity, the whole cheating scandal, and that Deandra is claiming that Rich has cheated on Leanne multiple times with different women, apparently, allegedly. This is all allegedly, and so.
And she never really clearly said that. She just insinuated or asked about it, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
something. A full sentence. What did he do, and who did he do it with?
Right.
That's what I need to
I mean,
hear.
post it on the blog.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, Deandra?
Yes.
And then finances. That was more into the middle after the whole infidelity talk. Finances, $200 to her name. We all know that's not true, but Deandra made it a big deal that that was not okay, and that. And Cary said it great, was that 1 minute you care about society and then the next you don't.
my
You
gosh, that
pick
was
a
so
side.
great.
And I was like, dang, you are
Yes.
so right. Because she'll do that. Like, I don't want to be in this society. I don't want to be known as my name. Do the K-cup thing, add the booty. But then she's like, you can't tell people that I only have $200 because people will judge me and I don't like that. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. And Cameron said that Deandra said, "Oh, this is going to make me so relatable to
yes.
America."
Oh,
Yes,
Thank you for
please,
bringing
let's
that up.
dissect
Like the
that.
self-producing, I mean, I get it. These people they should, they should be responsible for how they come across on the show. But like, really, to self-produce a storyline to be relatable to
Well,
the middle class,
Well, and they were
are you
saying
in society or not?
Cameron was lying about that. Do you
yeah.
believe that to be a
That,
lie?
I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure
I
out.
know. It's a
To
good
me,
question.
I felt like, I don't know, Andy should have went harder on that issue, because then the whole thing Cameron came out with, I actually believed your crocodile tears. And that is the thing. Like, Deandra actually seemed to be really upset. Was she
Right.
acting this whole time? There were several episodes where she's like upset and almost crying, and Leanne
Yeah.
betrayed my trust. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. Is she a
Yeah,
better
so who's
actress than we
lying?
thought?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I
Now
mean,
that I've really, just something you said struck me with like Andy, like with the questions, and like I'm thinking, like now that I've really meditated on this during this interview, I was thinking, yes, thank you. I was like thinking, like what really was settled, if anything. Again, this was too rushed, and things were not allowed to be played out or get to the bottom of. Now, Andy at the end did ask, I'm sure we'll get to. He did ask some questions about where people are currently, but like, why can't we figure out where this thing about self-producing came? Why did she say she was relatable? Really, like, let's dig into more about that night with the phone. Like, these are big things that we've discussed at length. That, like, let's let it play out. And I've said this many times here at AfterBuzz about these reunions, but this show really should have been in 3 parts. Again, that's just my final judgment.
Yeah. She really, she specifically, Cameron thought Deandra was acting. And
she said
and
she
that
was.
breaks the fourth wall. Or is it the
Right.
third wall? Third wall? Fourth wall?
Fourth wall. I think.
Fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that there's, some things are amped up and reality shows, the storyline thing, and producers can be saying to do this and that. But it broke the fourth wall, her saying that. And also, last episode with the part 1 reunion, this kind of similar thing was brought to people's attention, was that the biggest secret that Deandra has been holding for the past year. And it was so anticlimactic. But it was that Deandra said that Leanne told her that Cary told Leanne that Cary was going to fat shame Deandra for her first season on the air in season 2.
Very well said, by the way. Good explanation. I mean, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, he said, she said, blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
Like, whoa. Okay, telephone. But it's so that was part 1 and this part 2. So Deandra has broke the fourth wall twice by saying like, oh, well, the storyline thing, like you were gonna fat shame me, and then like, oh well, you were acting on that, so it's like, oh gosh,
there's
like,
so many lies. What is actually happening? Like, who is lying?
Right?
And like, what is going on?
And Deandra, the thing that came up, that Deandra was only talking about these rumors with Rich and everything in her confessionals. So that's another kind of production move you can make too. She never said it to her face.
Exactly.
And that's like reality TV 101. Like, of course you're gonna get called out for that. Like, you didn't say it to my face. So how is someone like LeeAnne supposed to defend herself when she doesn't have the facts in front of her? I get it.
Exactly. That's what Stephanie said. She's like, I would be so... My heart would ache the fact that I would hear about that you know about the cheating allegations through this reality show because you didn't say it to my face.
They're supposed to be friends.
Yes, right? And but like at the same time, she didn't say it on the show. She said it in her confessional. That could have been weeks later after filming. Who knows when that was filmed, and who knows if they actually had that conversation when it's just like, as the public eye, we really don't know. There's so many gaps.
Totally.
Because we don't see it all.
Yep.
And that's when all these rumors start and like, you should have done this and you're wrong for this. But it's in reality, who knows if they talked off camera.
You don't know who to believe. You don't know who to believe because you don't have the facts.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. You're spoon-fed edits. It's tough. Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing I will say, Deandra called out LeeAnne by saying that she implies a lot and she makes a lot of insinuations. And we've seen it. LeeAnne does this in her confessionals. It's true. That's how she does, I guess, get around certain things without being so direct. Like, even sometimes I feel like with us last season, I feel like she said a few things. It was like, it makes you think. She's one of those people that will like say something and then you leave and then you think about it like in the car and you're like, oh. But that can be a gift, but it can also be dangerous.
Yes.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And that's what the whole alcoholism. Like, I didn't say you're an alcoholic, but I said you like to drink heavily. And that Brandi only likes you because you drink.
Had a problem
and
in
she
the past.
She did, right, exactly. She did say it once, as she always points out. She did say it straight out one time. And she also, what she said in her confessional, she's not classy enough to be an alcoholic, she's a drunk. So
right.
that is saying that she's not good enough to even be an alcoholic. That's what you said. So this whole, I didn't exactly say it stuff. Well, there are a couple times you did exactly say it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, she claimed she said it once, but it was disguised so many times.
And also,
come on.
With this, especially with this reunion, I have to get back to what Grant said. So much of it came down to the editing because I had an issue when they were like, well, you said something to Mama D. And I was like, I remember her saying it too. And then when they showed the clip, they didn't show, I mean, I want to see that whole, because there was a point where Mama D was like, well, you know, her father was an alcoholic. So you know she said that in response to what LeeAnne said. And I don't remember LeeAnne's exact terminology, but I'm pretty sure she used the word alcoholic to Mama D. And they have Mama D being like, well, you know, I'm 78. It's okay.
Yes.
And I was like, no, editors, come on, don't make me go find that footage. But there was something more said in that discussion.
So there's something more beyond LeeAnne saying that when she's with Brandi, she likes to drink. There
was something after that. And then that's when her mother was like, well, you know, I'm really worried. And maybe she didn't, I'm not going to say she exactly said alcoholic, but I know the whole thing with the father committing suicide and the father alcoholism and stuff came up in that discussion, which is why Mama D heard it that way.
Well, also that brings up so many other questions I have now that you say that, because also, so she talks about, well, her father had a problem, but now we find out Deandra had a problem with drugs. Why didn't that come up in the conversation? Because like that drug and alcohol goes hand in hand. So a lot of times, like if you're a drug addict, like you should not be doing, drinking alcohol, and vice versa. So like, why didn't that come up in the conversation? Now all of a sudden we find out Deandra, maybe they didn't want to play it on and they decided at the last minute, but like, I didn't know this. They didn't talk about that in that.
And Deandra went to rehab too. Like it got so bad.
Like, why didn't that come up in that conversation with LeeAnne and Mama D?
Maybe that says a lot to LeeAnne and her loyalty. Maybe she didn't say that because she didn't want to go that low.
But why wouldn't Mama D said, oh, her father had problems with this. Why didn't Mama D said, yes, she's had problems with drugs
before?
In the past.
That's true. That's a good point.
I don't know if it's her business to tell.
Yeah, it's kind of good that
I'd be
Deandra
pissed.
said it. Yeah.
I mean, I've never had that, like, knock on wood, but I would be pissed if someone started, like, spreading that around, like,
Like, remember when you went to rehab?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
To throw
oh
that
my
To
gosh.
throw that in a former addict's face is terrible.
No. And I'm not saying throw it in her face, but I'm saying, like, to be genuinely, like if you know that, like, you're genuinely concerned for your friend. Like, if my friend was doing this and I knew that they had been to rehab in the past, I would be concerned. After finding this out, now I'm like, wow, now I understand why Leanne is
right
about this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And then also, like, why was Mama D was, I thought she was going to come in, like, guns blazing for, like, Leanne, but she was, like...
Leanne or for Deandra, her daughter?
For
Blazing,
her
like,
daughter, but
against
Leanne.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Because,
you,
like,
got
all
you.
season, she was, like, you know, it was good at first, but then it started getting, like, kind of volatile with her about Leanne, and then she came in and it was, like... They were okay with each other.
And that's a big issue I have with them always being like, you're Mama D's puppet. I'm like, is there something happened that Mama D is seeing that we don't see? Because the only thing we see them is they go back and forth about this company, and Mama D's always like, oh, be paid. You know, she always gives her kind of good friendship advice, and she's not really in the thick of the girls. So I'm like, Mama D's puppet for what? Like, I need...
Unless if it's, like, something behind the scenes that
That's
we're
what
not
I'm saying.
seeing.
I feel
But
like
again,
there's
we're not
something
seeing it.
behind the scenes, because then when Mama D comes in and she's like, oh, I would mediate this. And Leanne is basically like, nice, but nah, I want a real therapist. And it's kind of like...
I agree with what Leanne said on that.
I'm not saying I don't agree
do.
with her. I feel like there's something behind her and Mama D that we're not seeing. Because I was like, based on what they've shown her, she doesn't seem like she's manipulating Deandra like that, the way they imply.
Leanne, we saw a different side of Leanne tonight when it was announced that Mama D was coming on. Her demeanor changed. Leanne's demeanor changed, and then the way she carried herself in her. I'm talking about Leanne now. The way she sat in the chair and she interacted with Mama D. Mama D kind of being shady and being like, "Leanne, are you okay over there? Are you good?"
Right.
Like, you know, it was a little
And
bit.
Cameron, look, listen.
Yeah.
That was, she called Cameron
Yeah.
out because I guess Cameron started to nod or get spacey on her.
Leanne was, in her own words, being real careful.
Okay,
with,
so you think
Mama D?
You think Mama D would have went for her if Leanne wasn't carrying herself a certain way and wasn't careful in that?
I think Leanne's guard was up because she didn't know what to expect.
I think Leanne was trying to show her. I'm sorry, Grant. I apologize.
No problem.
I agree. I feel like Leanne was like, I'm going to show her respect because she's older, but I don't really mess with her like that. And she was trying.
She's a mom to her.
Yeah, that's
they have that mother-daughter
No,
relationship.
what she said at the end, even though Andy said it was nice, she said, I used to protect you from Mama D. I was like, how's Andy like, that's nice? That's not nice to Mama D. Like, what are you saying? So to me, she played it, that she has respect for her. And she's like, oh yeah, I've always loved you. But the comments she made were really derogatory towards Mama D. She's like, Mama D used to make you think a certain way, and I missed it. I was not there to protect you from that.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. What are you saying, really, about Mama D? So I don't know. But I feel like you said, like, she kind of sad. And she was respecting her because she's like, I can't front this older woman on national TV because we all love her. Like, I love Mama D. So I think she showed her a lot of respect. Yeah. But she was still kind of like, I'm not feeling you like I used to, in my opinion.
I would have liked to have seen maybe a half of a reunion with Mama D just weighing in.
Mm-hmm. I wanted more Mama D.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff there, and you know she made multiple appearances throughout the show too over the last 2 seasons, so it's warranted, I think. And you know, I wanted to see a little bit more of the dynamic between her and Leanne. I was really looking for that. Leanne had to really be careful. You could tell she was watching every word that came out of her mouth, especially when she corrected Mama D about the alcoholic term, which, you know, is up for debate here at AfterBuzz. But I wanted more of that. I think Leanne was prepared to be leveled by Mama D, but Mama D, she didn't. The wig didn't shift. She just kind of went in and said her piece, and that was it. No one lost their cool.
And what I want to see is I want to see a special with Mama D mediating between Leanne and Deandra, and then becoming friends again.
That would be lovely. Yeah. That would be cool. That would be awesome.
But,
I totally agree.
Maybe it's Leanne and her mother that she's reconnected with, so she has like a number on her side. You know what I mean? And it's like the moms and the daughters. Because I don't know. I feel like, you know, when you go up with you know, someone and their mom, I mean, are they really going to be impartial?
Right. Exactly.
So.
Right. And I agree with Leanne as far as that, as wanting somebody to be impartial. But I do feel like, because Leanne and Cameron have made distinct digs at Mama D over the season, and I don't know what it's based on, to be honest. And we haven't seen it on the show, and we haven't seen it in past episodes, because I was like, is this outside the company? And they both said, oh, you're Mama D's puppet. For what?
So wait, I had a quick question about. So this is what I keep thinking, and I can't figure it out. So we know through social media. Well, I mean, I'm assuming. So I'm assuming other people are thinking this too. That Leanne and Deandra are still not friends, right? Do we know that?
Right?
I wonder if like they've hid things until the show airs. I'm curious. Sometimes they like stay.
Wait,
I know OC Housewives do that all the time. They would like stay out of pictures with each other until the last episode. I don't know. I doubt it.
So maybe we'll flip tonight and see all these pictures of them over social media. But at the end of this episode, they seemed like they both genuinely wanted to be friends again.
I saw some type like.
Who do you feel like is holding this relationship back from being friends again?
The show.
I was exactly.
Sorry, I need to cut you.
No, you literally said it in my mouth, because I feel like this. What have we been talking about this entire time? Sure, their relationship has fallen apart because of the show, but let me tell you, Deandra and LeeAnne are smart women. They have everyone talking about them. Let's bring it full picture. Like, they did a really good I like, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I want this to be fake, because I want them to be friends. I think this is silly that it's the show that's doing it. But is it a ploy? Like, is this like, let's get people talking and let's really ramp it up?
And I would go further to say that they're not going to get together. Well, makes theoretically for the show and for the franchise, it makes best sense for them to get together closer to the wedding. So either because I know Rich, if they do make it all the way down the aisle, that's a great scene. If they have the wedding spinoff, which hopefully they're big enough to get a wedding spinoff, but I mean,
Well, definitely for season 4.
This reunion, it boiled down into two issues. There's the issue of LeeAnne calling Deandra an alcoholic, and the issue of saying LeeAnne and Rich lead separate lives from Deandra. It's got to be more than that, though. I mean, it's not. That's what Andy boiled it down to, because he had a few minutes left of airtime. Right. But, I don't know, that is manageable, because you just get to the bottom of it. You either agree to move on or you just talk it out. But there's got to be more. And we saw the Bravo blogs, and, LeeAnne's been out in the press, and I'm sure Deandra has plenty to say. So I don't know, maybe it's too cutting, but I was genuinely surprised. I thought maybe LeeAnne would be like, nope, I don't see anything happening here. It's just too far gone. We were too close at one point, and now we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's too late. But like you said, I think that there could be a possibility.
Because the thing, I think also, it's not so much separate lives. I agree with you. Separate lives ain't nothing. Did Rich cheat or no?
Oh, that too.
You know what I'm saying? Because if she marries him
and
and he didn't cheat or whatever, if he hasn't cheated, then Deandra needs to be like, I'm sorry, I spread the rumors. And they can get past it. If he has cheated and she accepts him anyway, then she needs to be like, I knew all along, or whatever. But they need to resolve the cheating thing, because she is actually going to marry him. So, I mean, that is one thing that they have to do. I think.
Okay, and we actually have some people in the chat joining us, so thanks so much for chatting in with us. To Freya, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Karen, who's actually joining us from the Netherlands.
Oh,
it's morning. It's morning.
Welcome. Good morning.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So one thing Freya says is that
how are they watching this show already in the Netherlands?
Says
it's live, honey.
We missed something. There was a part of the preview where Cary was talking to Brandi, who was crying, but we didn't see any part of that. Do you guys remember that preview where Cary was talking and Brandi was crying? We didn't see any of that, so I have no idea.
Cary have been crying about the relationship between her and her father?
No, she said Brandi was crying.
Oh, Brandi.
Yeah, Brandi was crying. Cary was
okay.
talking to Brandi, and Brandi was crying.
Well, because remember, this was during her adoption process period, so she might have been very vulnerable with these allegations of me being an alcoholic is not okay, because I'm going through the adoption.
But he's I don't know if I remember that preview, but I definitely don't remember Brandi crying.
Yeah, I don't
so
either
if they
at
played
all.
that preview, then
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
come on,
Karen also says, do you think that the show and fame has got to Deandra's head?
Well, what I do know is that she just recently got verified on Twitter. It's taken her 2 full seasons to finally get verified.
Ridiculous. She needs a great social team. Yeah, she needs a digital team. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know about LeeAnne. I don't know about Deandra so much. I think it's more Mama D. And I was going to save this for predictions, but I think Mama D loves the camera, and I wouldn't be surprised if she realizes that the magic move is to confront Leanne.
Okay, on that note, let's do some news really quick.
Yes.
Like, we only have like a minute or two, but since you brought it up.
AfterBuzz TV
Okay, so the first article I found was Leanne and Rich came to LA, and on the flight back from LA, this is right after the wildfires and stuff, one of the people had like a heart attack, or she had some sort of like major medical issue, and like Rich saved her life. So great job,
Wow.
Rich.
That's
Yay. Totally nice. Okay, so the second article, since we're talking about this, is why I want to go to the news, is this article like really lays out how Mama D was like 19 and poor and decided she was going to uplift her life and marry a rich man, and she did so.
Damn.
So when you
The
believe it, you
glow up.
achieve it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And she also talks about how, you know, she had her first husband and she had Deandra, and that didn't work out. And then she had a list of the top 10, I think maybe wealthiest men in Texas. And the person she married was at the top of the list.
Oh,
and so she made it happen. So
goal-oriented.
read that for, you know.
Well, yeah. Can I just quickly just sprinkle something on that? Like, we learned tonight that Deandra became a Simmons at age 6, and they talked about being the black sheep of the Simmons family. I can understand now if Dee moved in with her daughter from a different marriage, and now they're sitting in the Simmons estate.
Okay.
I can say it's like some
All right, and
drama.
on a side note to that, when I was doing some research on the Simmonses, generally speaking, the bigger Simmons, which was Glenn's brother, his daughters like sued him and stuff because they were trying to take over the company.
Oh.
That whole family's shady, so I'm not convinced
Oh,
Deandra is the
wow.
black sheep, to be
a
honest
mess. The
with you.
mo money, mo problem.
Exactly.
Amen, honey. I guess
Exactly,
we
you
will
guys.
have to reveal all that come season 4.
Yes.
So we will see y'all next year for that.
Yes.
But in the meantime, y'all should follow us on social.
All right, party people. I am Erica D. Edwards. You can follow me on all of my social media at Erica, E-R-I-K-A-D as in door, Edwards. And if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, then you can catch me here on Sunday nights on AfterBuzz TV at 9 p.m.
And I loved this panel. Thank you guys for having me back and talking about Dallas Housewives. For even more ranting, you can find me on my podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk, on Spreaker Radio and all major podcasting platforms.
Guys, I'm Jessie Zahner. Thanks for joining us all season in the live chat. Thank you tonight to Freya and Karen. I'm Jessie Zahner. You can find me all over social media at Athletic. And go get Dream Wide Awake by CJ Zahner for the holidays. It's really cheap right now on Amazon.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Stocking stuffer. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. My name is Rachel Robillard, and y'all can find me on Instagram at Rach_Robillard. And I speak on behalf of the whole panel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in all
That's
season.
great.
Thank you.
Season
Gracias.
3, Real Housewives of Dallas has been awesome. Special thanks to Maria Menounos and Keven Undergaro and our awesome engineer, Jeff, for throwing it down for us. And we just give a lot of thanks to y'all and the fans out there. So thank you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.